is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, back with another video. As you guys saw from the last video, I think it was the last video, then ooh, I just noticed, look at the color, looking nice. As I said in the last video, we're tuning two bikes today. We're doing the R1M and the M1000R. We did the R1M in the first video. Actually, I don't know which one I'm posting first, probably the R1M since we did it first, but now we did the base runs, all that. It did 181 with the current tune from BT Moto. They're going to do some adjustments, you know, like work on it to perfect it better and all that stuff. And then from there, they're working on the file right now. So in the meantime, we're going to do the M1000R because that one is already, like, he already knows the setup and everything for it. So it's just going to be quick, run it on the dyno, maybe get some videos of me on the dyno as well. So this is going to be fun. And yeah, let's go see her. But hey, it's getting color. I love it.
Interesting orientation of the mirrors.
So this is technically, oh yeah, bro, it's really wide. I can't see splitting lanes. I mean, not I can't see, but they're too wide. I feel like I'm gonna, you know, splitting lanes and all is just hard.
Okay.
So yeah. What, you don't like the bunny ears?
It's interesting.
But yeah, so we're gonna see how much this bike makes stock, right? And then after the tune,
I'm gonna show you the second gear restrictions, and then we'll go to the fifth gear passes. But the second restrictions are absolutely ridiculous in this bike.
yeah, I still feel that kind of like flat spot somewhere like in the middle. You know, in the start it feels good, then it's a little flat spot, then it picks up top. This one doesn't pick up top as much as the double R's. I have noticed that. But are we gonna be doing? So it's just gonna be a stage 1 tune, right? There's no stacks or anything like that yet for this.
This is just stock as a rock, and then we're just going to throw a tune file into it.
Okay, so not even an air filter. So
Nothing.
Literally just a tune,
Just the tune right now.
Okay.
We'll do all this stuff later, but for right now, it's gonna be good.
Sounds good. So we'll see, literally with just the tune, how much horsepower we're gonna gain. And in the future, we're probably gonna be doing more like stuff like.
E85 file for you. I'll get you a filter. We'll get to IET. We'll give you velocity stacks. We'll do a few things.
That's gonna be fun later on. So stay tuned for the future with that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. He did put the E85 map on it, so maybe one day I'll do like a little E85 review on this thing. That'll be like really interesting. When I did it on my double R, it was just insane. These bikes on E85 like run completely different. They're just animals on E85. Sadly, I don't have an E85 station like right nearby me, and so it's kind of annoying. And you're not supposed to let E85 sit, right? So
Not for too long.
Yeah, so I don't want to have just jugs chilling in my garage since, you know, I don't ride every single bike as often, too many bikes, so I can't be riding every single day. Even if I ride every single day, one bike is gonna have to sit for over a week. See the setup? This one's gonna be way less loud since it's pretty much a bone stock exhaust. It does have the Acro titanium slip-on, but no headers or anything like that. Maybe in the future, let's see. If this bike does well on the rental and stuff like that, then maybe we'll do like headers for it. Not 100% sure about that, just because, as I said, it's for the rental, so like we're not trying to put too much money into it, but maybe. All right, he's gonna set it up right now, and then we'll get back as soon as we start running on the dyno and seeing the numbers and the before and after and all that stuff. Yeah, you definitely rode it hard.
The flat spot here, it still has. That's ridiculous.
So it was in a different measurement remote. That's why I was reading 198, right?
Well, let me just make sure. I'm gonna call right now and look over everything.
He's calling Brent because this doesn't make sense. This is a bone stock bike and it's making.
This is the bike, bro.
Well, 198 in the different reading and now in this
Real
one.
quick, if you look at the
198
right now,
I told you guys this bike feels really fast. But this doesn't make sense. And the graph doesn't look too bad either for a stock bike.
Hayes M1000 about 200 stock.
Everyone's all confused. They're like, this doesn't make sense. Literally, this thing literally broke the dyno.
Let me check it out. Look at the
Yeah, so there's like two different versions, I guess, of reading. There's STD and SAE.
Okay, cool. Alright, man, well, let me flash this thing and see.
But
Alright,
in the STD format, it made 198, and in
So it's
the
good.
SAE, it made 193.
He's like, oh, you messed something up. And we went through saying, he's like, you didn't mess anything up. He's all must be one hell of a bike.
But how can you, like, what can you
It's
even
day
mess
one.
up?
No,
What can you even mess up? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a bunch of sayings I can mess up on here, but I didn't mess anything up. If anything, I tried to roll it back by going to SAE, and it still was reading way high.
The R1M, was that SAE or
STD. I always leave it STD, but we would leave the correct
So that's
track.
even the higher number? Technically, STD is the higher number, right?
Well, on this.
No,
it's
on
lower. Because right now it goes by temp.
Okay.
So on the SAE, basically, right now, if we set it a certain way to read because we're reading temperature,
Uh-huh.
so we set the dyno a certain way, rather than the weather station, which this room is not really good for that, so that's why we set the STD.
Okay.
But like I said, the last one was reading like 180s. And now this one's
The other one.
the other one I just did. Pull
Yeah.
up the dyno here, and now this one, the highest it made was 199. So I'm gonna see what this thing does right now.
Yeah, this thing, the tuned M1000 single R that's outside there that he already worked on, after tuning it did 199. This thing pretty much did almost that bone stock.
And it's, you see the dip up top. It's a stock file. This is not modded at all.
So now we're gonna tune it, right?
Now I'm gonna tune it.
And there's not even velocity stacks, it's just a straight tune.
It's just yeah.
This is insane.
Well, we'll see what it does right now. It's gonna make more. I shut it at the top. I mean, you saw your R1.
210
180.
right now.
It's not like a stupid. It's not a stupid dyno.
Yeah.
It's just.
Like, and you saw also on the R1, even this with a stock one, like, it's like, I feel like the R1 goes up to here and then it just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
This
plateaus.
like keeps kind of like climbing and then it dips in the end.
Yeah, that's a typical R1 curve. The
Okay.
plateaus like that and flats up. It'll be like 7,000 will just jump up, and that's where it likes to be.
Yeah, the cross plane, like the mid-range torque.
It will just settle like that. The plateau.
Okay, so now we're gonna tune it and we're gonna run it again and see the difference. But just to confirm, so this one did 198, but that's the different reading, right? The 193 is the same reading where the R1 did 180.
Yeah.
Okay, so 193 versus 180 technically, if we're comparing same reading. Still 30, and that still has a tune on it, the R1. This is like, okay, that doesn't make sense. 13 more horsepower on a bone stock bike, while they're on the R1 has decat, air filter, everything on that bike, pretty much a tune. We're still gonna adjust it, hopefully make some more power, but still, like, it's not gonna get even close to the stock numbers of this bike. This does not make sense.
We'll see where it lands, man. I mean, 347 miles of this thing, it's not even broken in. I mean, it's gonna make more steam at 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles. It's gonna make more and more power.
So yeah, this bike has 350 miles and it's already on the dyno. So you guys heard him. Close to what, 2,000 miles? It should be making more power when it's
Right there, 347
properly
miles.
broken in.
That's a total odometer reading right there. I mean, that bike has about the same. I don't know how the customer rode that thing, but this thing was what, rode hard?
I rode it hard, yeah, I rode the first 100 miles.
That's good.
It was me.
You put like no miles on it, my guy.
Yeah, I put 100, bro.
This guy, you didn't not
I
put
did.
100. I have it on video. We're gonna play the video.
Alright, let's do it.
Homie rode it from the shop to that me and back to his house. Maybe 50 miles, if you're
Then I
lucky.
put it in the garage on the stand and I let it run.
Oh, this guy.
So it goes to my suggestion: if you ride these bikes hard, Maybe
Oh yeah,
maybe
I
well.
told him, I was like, I'm redlining every single gear on this bike.
That's how I break
So,
everything basically.
That's how you break the dyno, by breaking the bike. We're breaking everything today. This is crazy. I wish I was this excited about my R1.
That's what we call a factory free.
Yeah. Now I want to bring, and we need to do this more. I need to bring some of my other bikes and just run it on the dyno and see like what numbers they make and all. So you guys always ask me like, oh, film like you installing parts and stuff like that, tuning. If you want to see any of this stuff, just go to his page. He has all the actual information that you need. I just film for fun and, you know, for entertainment. He is a person that you need to learn stuff from. He does like a lot of installs, all the stuff from Brent Tuning. He does it on his channel, and he does a lot of like comparisons and, you know, dyno runs and stuff like that. So go up, check out his channel. It'll be in the top link of the description down below, as well as the Brent Tuning stuff. So check him out. And yeah, I'm excited to see what this is gonna make after it's done.
Yeah, we're gonna race these things next.
Yeah, so that's coming up very soon. We're not doing it today, but very soon we're going to be racing this against some of the other bikes. I think what we're going to do is like we're going to do one of them. Yeah, so we're going to do both of them tuned. Maybe we'll do one stock, one tuned, see a comparison. And maybe also we'll do this one against some of my, so we'll do it against the Rush. We'll do it maybe against the Nürburgring. We'll do this one. I got the Super Duke as well, so we're tuning that on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm excited for that as well. So a lot of these hyper naked bikes we're going to be putting against each other, and that should be exciting. So yeah. Okay. We're going to be doing a lot of runs for the bike like that. So I already went from 196 to 198 for 2 runs. So now it's making the same as it did stop. It's almost at 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 2 So 201 is the best we could get out of it.
201, which is stronger than one out there, has a better curve than one out there, which is surprising.
That's just kind of weird though. Like, how did it do the? Because this is the same reading. Yeah, that's the STD. So how did it do 198 stock?
Well,
Like
there might be something. I'm just gonna rerun it right now, reset mixtures and stuff like that, because now it's reading proper. It shouldn't read that, but let's see what it does right now. I'm gonna put it back and do it.
So now we're gonna go back to stock. Now that he reset a bunch of parameters and stuff like that, and we're gonna rerun it against stock to see if something was up before. There's a lot that goes into it that I don't know. So
Well, let's see.
yeah.
We'll check it out. It wouldn't make sense to only give a couple horsepower. Give the same software I'm running, so it would make sense.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So that's second gear, stock versus tuned, gain 13 horsepower
Yeah, so that makes more sense now. That will work
for second gear. Now let's try the fifth, because the fifth,
Yeah, we're gonna do fifth, but check
yeah,
this
last
out.
time it did 198 stock.
Check this out. Look at that.
Yeah, the difference. This is the flat spot I was saying to you guys when I was riding it. Like, it feels good, and then it dies, and then it starts picking up a little bit.
Yeah, so you got red here, right?
Yeah.
107 wheel horsepower from 57 wheel horsepower. That's 50 wheel horsepower increase right there in second gear in the mid-range, right where you're, that's right where you're riding. It feels like 600 basically, right there in that mid-range in second gear. Now, of course, these bikes are restricted second, third, fourth, and fifth gear. Second gear being the worst restrictions. That's why I'm showing second gear. And of course, the peak of second gear is going to be different because now the gear ratios change. So we're going to recalibrate really quick for fifth gear and then show you what the stock looks like against that. That makes more sense to me. Okay, now we're going to put the fans back on. I'll recalibrate really fast. And we should do one more
And
pull.
then we're doing it for fifth gear pull and see.
Yeah, and then I'll throw the tune file back onto it.
And then we'll put the tune again.
You can see that massive difference. Yeah. Right here.
You could also see in the top speed, this stock did 177, tuned 184.
Oh, we can go through sixth gear too if you want to. See what it actually talks out of.
That'll be fun. I'll be on the dyno and we'll try that.
It'll probably be, I think it's gear limited to like 174 or something like that, but indicated it'll probably be 180 something.
Okay.
Can we do it? Because when on the S1000 when I topped out at 192, it was actually 188 GPS. So here we go. So mid-range here, this is typically where you're riding, right? Right here you're looking at, I mean, look at that gain right there. It's 8 wheel horsepower. Just let me increase here so you can see it better. So 8 wheel horsepower right there, just bam. And then of course it separates the whole way. You can see the tune file is actually making power the whole way through the RPM, but it really starts separating right around here. And that's right around 12,000 RPM. And that's only 3 wheel horsepower there, but I mean, look where this dip starts taking really effect right here at the worst part of it. I mean, 178 versus 198, that's 20 wheel horsepower up top that we're gaining from the flash. And then of course we're getting the extended RPM limiter as well, so less gear shifts to the track, more of a power band you're getting through this whole range. It's just, that cleaned everything up, and you can see how smooth that nice power band is rather than, you know, it looks like it's hiking up a canyon or something like that from here.
Yeah, definitely smoothing up the curve a little bit, and that massive difference up here.
So a lot of people like to say peak to peak. Yeah, we're making 11 wheel peak to peak, but that's not the whole story. The whole story comes to the entire dyno graph. We're gaining power here, we're gaining power up top, and I mean, these differences don't show peak to peak. These are showing something completely different that you feel at the top of the bike. Like right here, I guarantee you this bike would start being a slug right around 150, 160 miles an hour.
I haven't taken it this far yet. I took it to like almost 150 and it started to get really wobbly and I was like, that's good enough.
This bike has a hair smaller, like a 1/4 inch smaller wheelbase than the actual standard 23 S1000RR. But it should straighten out well. I mean, there is a lot less weight on the front of this, and I think it's rated at 22 pounds of downforce, about 134 miles an hour. That's the reason why they took the handcuffs off the motor itself, is because of those wings on it that actually pull the front end of this bike down. Because with a 47 rear tooth sprocket versus the 46 in the S1000, this thing that's a lot of power. You're gearing it really low. I mean, that's a wheelie machine basically. So good power, man. 11 wheel horsepower gain basically back to back. That freak weird stuff we had going on in the beginning is something with a dyno that it froze the software, so I had to reset everything. But I'm glad we got it sorted now. We're showing an actual realistic number. This actually is dynoing better than the other bike I had in here before this. That's probably because of the way you broke it in. If you said you're beating it up.
Oh, I was riding it hard. I was redlining at 120, like, bah, 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 bah. They've seen it.
That's why I recommend all my stuff. I pretty much smash, I let it warm up, you heat cycle it. I mean, there's no actual agreed upon way to break an engine, but I've noticed that when you break it in pretty hard, properly, that this is the result. It usually turns out very well if you heat the engine up very well, heat cycle it nice. Then you smash the limiter, let the bike engine brake, smash the limiter again, let the engine brake. So it's a lot better method I've noticed, and I can see it right here on paper. I mean, it's making 2-wheel horsepower more than the other one, which it's still 2-wheel horsepower, smoother, you know? I mean, 2 horsepower too. These have the exact same mods on it, except like you said, the carbon cover. Maybe that's what's making the power. I have no idea.
It's my carbon cover from the 22, my M1000R.
Carbon cover might have done it, I don't know. So I'll let you do a couple pulls on here so you get a feel for what this bike feels like on the dyno, and then
all right, after we put the tune on it, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna tune back on, and then we're gonna film some more videos. Probably gonna be for the Instagram, so follow me on Instagram if you want to see that stuff. Do some reels. You know, I've never ran a bike on the dyno, so this should be fun. We'll do some with this and some with the R1 for sure.
Yeah, I'll record and you'll see. Actually, I'll get a good angle back here where you can see the tire expand while it's going through the gears. Like the tire starts growing like that.
Sick, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
All right. I'm keeping this in the video. I just tripped on this chair right here. I'm dead. All right, we're finishing up this video. We finally did a bunch of runs on this bike. We did stock. The bike was running a little too high. It was abnormal. Then we did the tuned, the 201. That was our max number. Then we switched it back to stock just to test out other gears and stuff like that. And the lowest reading it did was 190. So now it makes more sense. 190 to 201, 11 horsepower gain. But mainly, as he explained, it's linear power, not just peak power. What you see 201, that's peak power. But with the tune, it got power everywhere. But I'm gonna have him explain to you guys before we sign out, just for those of you that don't know anything about tuning or why you should get your bikes tuned.
Yeah,
so go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, basically, we have the tune file here from 5th gear. So 5th gear, in the beginning, we were having some issues with the dyno, so we got those sorted out with the tuning. And then we went back to the stock file, and it's making more sense now that we're making 11 wheel up top. And like Kay said, the 11 wheel horsepower peak to peak, that's great and all, but that's not the whole story. The whole story comes when you see the entire graph where you're making power. This is red, our tune file. Blue is our stock file, and you can see even in the mid-range here where you're just cruising around town, you're getting 8-wheel horsepower. This is stock exhaust, stock everything on this bike, just tuning. And up top here, you can see this canyon that appears. This is the typical 23 S1000RR, M1000R. It's going to be the double R2. This is going to be the new thing up top here that we've managed to figure out here. And you can see how much power we're making there on top. Almost 20 wheel from end to end right there. Oh, this phone call. Okay. We've also got extended RPM limiter here, so that means we have a broader power range or a longer power band, so you don't have to shift as much, less shifting at the track.
So for those of you the guys that don't know, it was at 14 something and now it's past 15 pretty much.
A little past 15 at this point, yeah.
A little bit higher as you can see here.
Yeah, just a little bit higher, nothing crazy. And we sorted out the air fueling. Now we have full-time closed loop, meaning the factory wide bands on the bike that come on the BMWs. We've now told them, hey, if you see a certain AFR, trim it and change it. If you see something different, change it back to that. So it actually tunes itself while you're riding the bike. we're just doing this for verification purposes, basically. Show you guys exactly what's going on here. And fifth gear is a good gear, but if we show you second gear, that's the worst. So this is no joke. Second gear and second gear. This is full throttle on the blue, stock, and full throttle in the red, tuned. We're getting 50 wheel horsepower right here. I mean, that's 50 wheel horsepower, 58 and 108, right there at 7,000 RPM. That's where you're riding around town. That's where your mid-range is. That's where you're typically gonna have this bike most of the time. And of course, we're getting huge gains up top as well, you know. But second gear, that's a horrible restricted gear. That's where that flat spot comes from. And
That's the one I've mentioned before when I'm riding. You totally feel that. All BMW owners know that.
It feels like a 600 right there, and that's horrible at the track. If you're actually at the track and trying to finish a turn and this power just gobs on at 8,000, 9,000 RPM, it's a nightmare to try and navigate, you know, try to finish a turn with that on there. It just upsets the balance of the bike and everything. So now we've made it nice and smooth. The throttle transitions are actually smoother. This is a little bit soft on the throttle transitions, so we made it where it's a certain throttle transition, it's more aggressive. If it's less, it's actually nice and soft. We mess with more than just making peak power on the bike. This is great for track people. This is good for roll racers. This is good for everyone. It's not just good for one group of people. If you want your bike to perform like it should have from the factory, this is what you need.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Now that the bike is running pretty much as good as it can, obviously later on in the future we are going to be doing velocity stacks. We're going to be doing what, like filter, relocate the IT sensor, stuff like that.
Get exhaust on here.
Possibly, am I doing exhaust on it? We'll see.
We got the 85 tuning as well.
Yeah, so we got the E85. I'll probably do a video on that, doing E85 on this bike. That's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, this bike already made 201, so I can't imagine with the E85 with this gearing and everything. This bike is already insane. But yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the few bikes where you don't have to add anything. You just have to tune it for the E85. That's it. You don't have to add any hardware. You don't have to change the pump. You don't have to add more injectors. You don't have to do anything. It just is ready to go right out of the box like this, and it actually trims for the E85. I don't know much better. I mean, that's how I run the bike all the time. The only downside to it is you get 30% less of a fuel tank basically, because it needs 30% more fuel.
Yeah, I definitely felt that when I put my double R on E85, the M1000R, definitely like
It goes.
the bike runs out at like usually 65 to maybe 70 miles, and I'm out of gas.
65, 70 miles, man. You're really getting it.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Really getting
bone stock. Well, not stock, but now on pump on 91, I usually get around like 90. I barely pass 90. But yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta ride them right, you know.
This bike will murder someone, so be careful.
Whoever rents it, please be careful. I'm gonna meet you guys and make sure you guys don't die, because this is a beast. This is not like a slow bike by any means, especially that it's a naked bike, you know, and geared.
These wings actually, BMW actually said the only reason why they took the handcuffs off the motor on this is because of these wings. It has 22 pounds of downforce, about 134 miles an hour, and that's what basically keeps this bike down. I mean, and you're still going to be praying to keep the tire down. It's going to be stupid how fast this
It
thing
definitely doesn't want to stay down. All right, so that's pretty much it. This is done, right?
We're done.
Perfect. Now we're going to be putting the R1 back on the dyno, which is a separate video for you guys. You probably have seen this video technically before this, but I'm kind of overlapping, going like filming this video and the other video. So this video is done here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe. Check out Brent Tuning, of course. They're going to be the top in the link of the description down below for both this one and the R1, since they're doing all the tuning and taking care of the bikes and all of that. Like, without them, my bikes wouldn't be running great. So thank you so much for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out. Stay safe. And Mr. Flo over here almost flipped the bike.
Come on, bro. It was on me anyway.
All right, peace out, guys.